Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm G, and no, I am not about to start streaming or making videos about Overwatch 2. I do, however, like free-to-play games and try some different demos from time to time to see if the games are good or bad. In this case, I was eager to try Overwatch 2. Now, I am not what you would call a PvP main or a PvP player, although, I do okay once I actually know what the hell I'm doing. And Overwatch, I always wanted to try it. Did try the beta when it came out, years ago. But now that it came to free to play a couple of months ago, I was eager to get back to it to see, what it was like, how the characters were, and all that. And I was pleased with what I tried. What I played was really good. It's a really polished game. Even the sound, the direction of sound is really helpful to when you find out where the enemies are and all that. And I really enjoy it. Now I said to myself I was only going to play this for the battle pass, something I already did before with Dauntless, which I recently started playing. So I wanted to see what I can get from the battle pass, if it's good or bad. The progression system, many people are saying it's really bad. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, it could be a little bit better, but it's not that bad. I've played other free-to-play like Dauntless, as I said before, and they're, it follows the same metrics. It's more focused on the daily tasks or the weekly tasks than actually the playing of the game itself. Now, playing the game gives you very little experience, even if you win. Also, you can do endorsements, but it doesn't really give you anything. It doesn't give you anything if you get them, and it doesn't give you anything if you give them to others. So you people are discouraged from doing that, which I think is a shame. What I did was I really only did the dailies, which give you like almost 9,000 points, which it was almost like a level per day that I was doing, and it works fine. It is a good progression if you look at it that way. Now, if you are a weekend warrior and only have maybe 2 or 3 days to try to fill up that battle pass, then it gets really complicated. Just playing the game, some matches can go up to 15 minutes, and after 15 minutes if you lose, you get like 150 experience or 1,000 experience. It's not good. It's very low if you want to do that over the weekend. Of course, there are those who just do the entire battle pass in a couple of days because they're crazy and they have no life. But for regular players, it's complicated if you choose doing a little bit of login every day or just doing on the weekends. If you can only do it on the weekends, it's complicated. So that will be addressed at some point, I'm sure. So I played until I got the skins and the new character Kiriko, and the skin was the ranger skin for McCree, which is now called Cassidy, but I always call him McCree. And it was okay, in that metric system for what I was playing, I was satisfied. But the real reason was I was trying Overwatch 2 is because I'm waiting for the PvE. That's why I didn't even finish the battle pass. I'm just playing it, to figure out what it was, and I'm waiting for the PvE. The PvE side of things is what really attracts me. I really like those characters that are a little bit cartoony, like they were in Dauntless. Those, they look like toys, and I want to see what the PvE brings. I really like to see what it will be raids, it'll be just small missions. They're saying they will implement PvE next year, but the game will probably still be very PvP focused, which to me is great because I'm not really PvP. I don't really care that much. So if I can have a little bit of a time out of a second game from Warframe to jump into Overwatch, I'm happy with it. The only thing I'm a little bit shaky about, it's just another sci-fi shooter. And I already have Warframe. I don't know how much I will dedicate in this one, even if the PvE is small and even if it's good, but I'll have to wait and see. Now, concerning the game itself, it's really well polished, it looks amazing, and the thing that attracted me, that made me, happy about it, playing it, was that it felt a little bit like when I played back in the day, way back in the day, Street Fighter. Street Fighter was a game where you had 8 characters. If you wanted to master each and every one, you need to master not only the moves of the character, but also what you're going to do against the opponent. Different opponents, you have to use different tactics. And in this game, you also have that. You need to know each character's abilities and how they work depending on what character you are facing. If the enemy changes to another character, then you have to change also, because this power is going to be better than you. It's not really about skill. It's not really about. Of course, it's always a little bit about skill, but it's not directed in maps and weapons like it's Destiny or The Division. It's more focused on the hero and the abilities that you have against other heroes. So in that sense, I enjoyed it. Although I spent most of the time just playing with support, because that's I need to do all roles as dailies, and all roles usually put me in support. I got to be average to good with Zenyatta. I also like Lucio, and of course Moira. People talk about Moira being meta, and from my experience, I only played a month. From all the characters that I played, to do support, but also a little bit of DPS, also a little bit of flanking, Moira does seem to stand out from the rest of them. That's all I'll say about it. I don't want to get into this discussion, but from what I've played, yes, Moira it does pretty well. That said, the game is not without its flaws. One of them is when you're getting hit, it's a little bit complicated to figure out where are you being shot from. Most of the times you die because you're being shot from the side or from the back. You have no idea what is coming. There's just red. It's just red on screen and you have no idea what's going on. Your health bar should maybe change color when you're in critical condition, and it doesn't. It just stays the same. So if you're focusing on the enemy in front of you, you don't even realize that you're losing health and you just die. And then you go like, "Whoa, what happened?" There should be a little warning, maybe a flash of red, maybe the health bar would flash when it's in critical, so it gives you a little bit of notion that you gotta get out of there or you gotta get a health pack or something like that. And it doesn't. So yeah, I think that's complicated. During a PvE event that was during Halloween, which I don't have footage of, there was a really good feature, which is you can see your other squad mates' health bars on the bottom left, and I think that should be something that could be activated. I mean, you can activate the bars on your friends, but you need to look at your friend or at enemy to see their health bars. I would much rather have at least your teammate bars on the side, so you can see, okay, who's in trouble, who's needing help, can I go and help them? Because one of the things that happen, for instance, if you play with soldier, you can put down a support pack that heals you, but it can also heal other people, and you usually don't see when the other players are in red or critical unless you're playing support, so that'll be a good thing. But those small issues aside, I can say I'm happy with what I played of Overwatch 2, and I cannot wait for the PvE to be implemented. That said, a couple of months back or a couple of years ago, I did a review on the first hero shooter PvP, which was Paladins, and Paladins was really, really cool. And so I went back to it to see, okay, how much difference is there between the two, and there isn't a lot. The feeling I got playing Paladins is still the same I got from playing Overwatch. That thing, that dynamic between your hero abilities and the other heroes, okay? Or how can you change characters, or what characters you can use, and knowing the maps, where you can find support and all that. And I went, and I can tell you that Paladins still holds pretty strongly against this Overwatch 2. It is a game that is not as well polished. The graphics are not so defined, and the shading is not as optimal because they don't have the Blizzard budget, they don't have those big AAA budgets to do it, but the game still feels exactly the same. It feels good to play in. It is also a little bit slower, maybe depending on the character, but it does seem to be a little bit slower than Overwatch. Also, there's not a lot of filling noise environment. I got a feeling that in Overwatch you get that the sound and the characters talking fills up the environment a little bit better than in Paladins, but it's just a minor detail. In many ways, Paladins is actually ahead, and I'll give you a few hints. First of all, in Paladins you can choose the game mode that you want, while in Overwatch 2 you queue in for a role and you cannot select what you're going to do. Being an arcade is different, but when you do all roles, you can't. In Paladins, you get that thing right on the get-go. You can choose one of the three game modes, and they're very similar one with the other, but you can choose that. Another thing that you have is you can get to the battle a lot faster. I remember playing push in Overwatch. When your payload is very far or your robot is very far, you spend a lot of time just running to the point where the battle is starting. So it takes a lot of time. many times the robot just at the crisp of getting to the checkpoint, to the final, to the finish with a robot or with a payload, and you're still running around the entire map, which of course gets easy once you know the map, the layout. But you don't even have a lot of time to figure out the map layout because you just want to get to the objective and help your teammates in battle and all that. And in Paladins, you get this horse, you get this item that can take you there a lot faster. And I thought that's a good idea. That's a good idea, and it is useful. Also in endorsement, you have 3 different types of endorsement. Now, I'm not saying this is useful or this is necessary, but it's a nice feature. You can do endorsement for someone who got a lot of kills. You can do endorsement for someone who did leadership, who pointed out where all the enemies are or something, or maybe help teammates and all that. So you can have a little bit of that. Another thing that Paladins does that is better is it has a lot more heroes. I mean, it's been on free-to-play for a long time. If you go and watch out videos from the channel in PlayStation YouTube, people are always commending the game, are always commending the characters, are always commending, hey man, I want to come back. And I was one of those that I wanted to come back to Paladins, but because I was already having a lot of my time spent in Warframe and then Dauntless and now Genshin, I just couldn't get myself to, dedicate myself to the characters. And there's a lot of characters in Paladins. I'll have to learn every character, learn their strengths, their weaknesses, the maps and all that. So it was an entirely new endeavor, so I didn't do it. But there is a lot more heroes here. And I do like the design of these heroes. And also you have builds. Now, I'm not saying that Overwatch should have builds, but they will have something similar to these builds in PvE. In PvE, I'm sure you have this. You will have to open the map, you have to unlock abilities, or maybe make the abilities stronger. So Paladins already has this, and it's for PvP. I don't know how much of this affects really the balance of the game. I don't think it affects a lot because I didn't hear anybody complain about it, but it is a nice feature. So what I'm saying is, Overwatch is like big budget Paladins. Paladins already set up a lot of the things that you see now in Overwatch. They came out pretty much at the same time, a little bit like Destiny and Warframe. They came out pretty much at the same time. Destiny followed its path, Warframe followed the similar path. Paladins and Overwatch are following a similar path. They came out at the same time. One has a lot of time in free to play, which is Paladins. So a lot of these things are already ironed out on this one. If Overwatch can drink a little bit of those quality of lives, you can just implement those quality of lives that Paladin already has, I think it will go a long way and it will do a lot better. So, my final opinion. If you want to play with hero PvP, you have these 2 great games. Paladins, if you like Diablo and fantasy, it's a little bit slower, but it has a lot of characters, a lot of builds. You can play around with it. It also feels a little bit like Hearthstone, with the characters, the cards and everything, and you can dive yourself on that. Or you can go to mass produced, also faster, but a game that is not coming into its own yet, which is Overwatch 2. Now, I'm not playing any one of them. I will not say which one is better, but I think you should. At least if you're playing Overwatch, you should try Paladins. And if you're playing Paladins, you should try Overwatch and see which one of this fits you. I think they're both great games. I'm not going to be doing content on Overwatch. I'm not going to be playing for the other hunt passes. Maybe if they offer something free, I might log in and then log out just to get the thing. But I will hold on, at least for Overwatch 2, until it comes out a PvE. After it comes out the PvE mode, then I will probably jump back in and play a little bit. But I do advise people to also try Paladins because it is a really good game. So that's just my opinion on it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give your comments down below what you like, if you play both, what you like in one and what you like in the other. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. And until then, have a great game, guys.